Colligative properties. Hello, my dear students. Good morning. Hope you all fine. Now we will discuss the most important topic, colligative properties, and which is completely new for you. So, what are the colligative properties and how many colligative properties we have? We have to see. Okay. So first of all, we have to know what is a colligative property. Property. So colligative property means the properties which depends on total number of particles is called colligative property. I repeat, colligative property means the property which completely depends on the total number of particles. Total number of particles, that is called colligative property. Very important. So I will write first what is colligative property. Today you will have introduction, no problem. But listen carefully. The property which depends which depends which depends on quantity of matter, otherwise number of particles. 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 Okay. Most importantly, colligative property means the property which depends on number of particles present in solution. Present in what? Solution is called colligative property. So how many colligative properties we have means there are 4 colligative properties. First one is RLVP, relative lowering of vapor pressure. RLVP, first one. Okay. Second one is elevation in boiling point. Elevation in boiling point. Next. Third one is depression in freezing point. Depression in freezing point. So next, last and final, fourth one, osmotic pressure. Osmotic pressure. So like that. So how many colligative properties you have? There are 4 colligative properties. How many? 4 colligative properties. So first one, we have to discuss about first one, RLVP, relative lowering of vapor pressure. Relative lowering of vapor pressure. Okay, so what is RLVP? We will discuss, but before that, to understand this RLVP, relative lowering of vapor pressure. So what is the vapor pressure? I'll tell you. First one is what? Vapor pressure. VP simply we call vapor pressure. Vapor pressure. What is that? Vapor pressure. So what is the vapor pressure? Vapor pressure means, I'll tell you before that one important thing. What is that? So this is a beaker. So till here you have a particular solution here. What here you have? Like this you have, suppose. So this is a closed vessel, suppose. So here you have closed vessel. So I'm heating here. What is this? Heat. When I'm heating, what happens? So this liquid, actually, this is suppose solvent. What is this? Solvent you have. Solvent. This is solvent you have here, not solution. So when you are heating, what happened here? You have a solute particle. Sorry. Solution vapors here. What you have here? Vapors. Vapors of solution. So here I write like this. These are vapors. Vapors here. Okay. So here when the liquid, see the solvent converting to vapor, this is one process. This is one process. And reverse, another process. Okay. So solvent converted to vapors. So what is that conversion? Liquid converts to vapors. Liquid converts to vapor, one process. Okay. So this liquid converted to vapor, one process, and the second process is vapor converted to liquid, reverse process. So there are two processes actually. Okay. So there are two processes. Liquid converted to vapor is one process, and vapor converted to liquid is another second process actually. So this liquid converted to vapor is called, do you know what is that? Vaporization. Okay. What is that? Vaporization. Vaporization. Sir, pen slightly problem, and don't worry. So please try to understand. Vaporization is called. I am writing there but missing letters. Vaporization. And vapor converted to liquid, that is condensation. Condensation. So liquid converted to vapor is vaporization, and vapor converted to liquid is condensation. So why you are explaining this means to explain what is the relative lowering of vapor pressure. So initially you have like this theory only. So to understand what is RLVP, these all are very important. So till now I was not given what is RLVP, and I was not given what is vapor pressure. I just given two processes. That liquid converted to vapor is called vaporization. Those vapors converted to liquid is called condensation. You know, in a pressure cooker, if you heat some rice or whatever, so first we will heat by on that stove. What happened? That liquid converted to vapor. So if you off that one, after some time, if you see that some droplets which you have on that particular what we call it, we will close now that cap. So from that one small droplets will come. That is called, what vapors is converting to liquid. That is called condensation. So initially one process happened. What is that? That liquid converted to vapors. That is called vaporization. Okay. Vapors converted to liquid, ulta process. That is called condensation. You just heat water. You can have both the process. What is that? In closed vessel only. Okay. If it is open vessel, condensation won't happen. They will evaporate. Okay. So evaporation or vaporization, both are same, evaporation. Okay, liquid converted to vapor. So why you are explaining about this means it's a simple thing to explain what is vapor pressure. Now I will give you what is the vapor pressure. Vapor pressure definition I will give you now. What is vapor pressure? Simply we use P. Vapor pressure. Simply we use what? P. So what is the vapor pressure? First we have. So vapor pressure means the pressure exerted by vapors of liquid. Listen carefully. The pressure exerted by vapors of liquid when vaporization and condensation at equilibrium. So this is equilibrium. I written there point. You can check there. Here. I written equilibrium. Equilibrium symbol everybody knows. So this liquid converted to vapor and vapor converted to liquid. So this is called equilibrium state. So at equilibrium state, these vapors are there. No, those vapors will exert some pressure like this. So they exert some pressure like this downwards. So that pressure exerted by vapors of liquid is called vapor pressure. So at equilibrium, so what I can write now, vapor pressure means at equilibrium state, in which both vaporization and condensation takes place simultaneously, then pressure exerted by whom? Vapors. Okay, pressure exerted by vapors. Pressure exerted by whom? By vapors. Vapors of whom? Liquid is called what? Vp. Vp means what? Vapor pressure. So what is vapor pressure? I written here. So what is vapor pressure? At equilibrium state, in which both vaporization and condensation takes place simultaneously, then pressure exerted by vapors of liquid is called vapor pressure. Okay, understood everyone? So what is vapor pressure? We have idea now. So vapor pressure of a pure solvent I was given. So here one more thing we have discussed, that is LVP. What we have discussed? LVP, lowering of vapor pressure. I will write fully. This is lowering of vapor pressure. Lowering of what? Vapor pressure. What is the lowering of vapor pressure? I will tell you now. So what is vapor pressure we have? So vapor pressure is simply P. We use P. Okay. So lowering of vapor pressure. What is that? Okay. When non-volatile solute added to a particular solution, excuse me, then what happens? Vapor pressure will decrease, because non-volatile solute means, what is the meaning? I tell you, the solute in which macro particles present. I repeat, macro particles. So if macro particles are presenting, then if you are heating also, they won't evaporate. So they are called non-volatile. Non means no. Volatile means cannot be vaporized. Means if solution consists of a non-volatile solute, so non-volatile solute consists of macro particles, means big particles. So when you are heating from bottom, then those macro particles will occupy the surface of liquid. So even you heat, so they won't allow to evaporate. Certainly, vapor pressure, what happens? Decreases. So when vapor pressure will be more, when the particles are more, when the particles are small, see, particles are more and small. Which particles? Vapor particles. If vapor particles are more, then evaporation is more. But what happens if you have macro particles, big particles, then certainly they occupy surface of liquid. So they cannot evaporate. Suppose in a particular classroom, I want to go out, but a very big fat fellow was just occupying the whole space at that door. So he is standing at the door. Can I go out? No. Why? Why I cannot go? Because he is a macro particle, very big. So even I try to go, I don't have a place to go there. Understanding what I'm saying? Like that, if a non-volatile solute is present in a solution, then what happens? Vapor pressure will decrease. Why? Because vaporization will be less. Vaporization will be less. That's why what happens? That vapor pressure will decrease. Vapor pressure decrease is called lowering of vapor pressure. I'll write now. So if I will write clearly, if solution consists of non-volatile. What is the meaning of non-volatile? Non-volatile solute consists of non-volatile solute, then what happened? Then vapor pressure will decrease. Why? What is a non-volatile solute meaning? Non-volatile means here. Yeah, non-volatile means what is that? Which cannot be vaporized. You write down those kind of words, okay? So if the solution consists of a non-volatile solute, then what happens? Then vapor pressure will decrease. Vapor pressure will what happen? Decrease. So the decrease in vapor pressure is called, what that is called? Lowering of vapor pressure. So I written very clearly non-volatile. What is the meaning of non-volatile? Non-volatile means what is the meaning? The particular solute which cannot be vaporized. Non-volatile means meaning which cannot be vaporized, is called non-volatile substance. Non-volatile solute consists of macroparticle or microparticle. Non-volatile solute consists of macroparticle or microparticle. Macro means big, very big. Non-volatile solute consists of these. Non-volatile solute consists of macro. See this, macro particles. Macro particles, not micro particles, macro particles. So what is LVP you have? What is LVP? Lowering of vapor pressure. If solution consists of non-volatile solute, then vapor pressure will decrease. That decrease in vapor pressure is called lowering of vapor pressure. So if definition, how you will write? The decrease in vapor pressure of a solution due to consist of non-volatile solute is called lowering of vapor pressure. So what is the definition? I can write now, lowering of vapor pressure. Please you also write down. So what is the definition? So what is the definition? The decrease in So here definition you have the decrease in vapor pressure, decrease in vapor pressure of solution or solution, sorry. Decrease in vapor pressure of solution. The decrease in vapor pressure of solution due to presence of a non-volatile solute. Non-volatile solute is called what? What that is called? Lowering of vapor pressure. What is the lowering of vapor pressure? The decrease in vapor pressure of a solution due to, this is Q2. Okay, due to presence of non-volatile solute is called, what that is called? Is called, what that is called? Lowering of vapor pressure, LVP. What is that? LVP. So definition you have clearly, write down you also, the decrease in vapor pressure of a solution due to presence of non-volatile solute is called lowering of vapor pressure. So due to presence of non-volatile vapor pressure, what happened? Decreases. So I have a question. I'll write 2 here. So 2 beakers I will write here. Okay, so here it is completely closed like this. Until here you have liquid. So here you have liquid, sir. And here you have vapor, sir. Here you have vapor, sir. What here you have? Vapors. Red color are vapors. So here what you have, what is this? This is solvent, suppose. What this is? Solvent. Solvent this is. Okay, these are the red color vapors of solvent. Vapors of solvent. So here these exert some pressure on this, like this. These vapors will apply some pressure on surface of liquid. So here the vapor pressure is P0. This is called P0. Listen carefully. What is that? P0. Now I will take one more here. What is that? One more beaker. Okay. So here I have same here. What I have? Solution I have. Okay. This is also a closed beaker. So here you have what you have here? Solution you have. Here solvent you have. Here solution you have. Okay. So here you have a solution. Which kind of solution? Here you have solution. This solution it is. And here you have vapors. But vapors are very less here. Why vapors are very less here? These are the vapors of solution, red color. Okay, which kind of solution this is? Solution with excuse me, with non-volatile solute. Non-volatile solute. So here also it applies. See here more vapors you have in solvent. Listen carefully. In solvent more vapors you have, but in solution vapors are less. What is the reason? Here these vapors also will apply some pressure actually. But here more particles are applying pressure. Here very less vapor particles are applying pressure. So here this pressure what we call PS. What is this? PS. What is P naught? Vapor pressure of pure solvent. What is PS? Vapor pressure of solution. Understand it clearly? This is vapor pressure of solution, and here vapor pressure of solution, here vapor pressure of solvent. Got it clearly? Sir, why sir here vapors are less means here you have a macro particles. Solvent particles I am using green color. So these are consist of macro particles. So they occupy more place on surface. So when they are occupying more surface, more space on that particular surface of a liquid solution, certainly this liquid cannot vaporize. So vaporization is difficult here because the solution consists of non-volatile solute. Solution consists of what? Non-volatile solute. Very, very important. Please. So what I am writing clearly now, therefore, I can write clearly, therefore, vapor pressure of solvent is always greater than vapor pressure of solution. Vapor pressure of solution. So vapor pressure of solvent is always greater than vapor pressure of solution. Reason I told you clearly. What is the reason? This is the most important thing. Vapor pressure of solvent is always greater than vapor pressure of solution. Very, very important. Okay, very much important for you. Vapor pressure of solvent. Vapor pressure of solvent is what? Vapor pressure of solvent is what? In brackets you can write, or like this you can write. This is P naught. What is vapor pressure of solution? Solution PS. Okay, vapor pressure of solvent is big or vapor pressure of solution is big? Vapor pressure of solvent is big vacuum. Got it? So vapor pressure of solvent is always greater than vapor pressure of solution. Why the vapor pressure of solution is very less? Learn slowly, no problem. We learn few things only, but you should have full clarity here. So that you will have full clarity about what is LVP, what is RLVP. Okay. So vapor pressure of solvent is always greater. So what I can write, therefore P naught is always greater than PS. P naught is always greater than PS. Vapor pressure of, remember this one everyone. Okay, so don't ask me later why P naught is greater. I told you P naught is vapor pressure of solvent. It is always greater than vapor pressure of solution because excuse me, solution consists of a non-volatile solute. Solute particles are always bigger in size. Certainly they occupy more surface. Certainly vaporization is difficult, so that vapor molecules are very less. So pressure will be very less. Very clear. So what I am writing here, what I written here, P naught is always greater than, see this, always greater than this. P naught is always greater than this. Yes, most important. Okay, so P naught is always greater than Ps. So what is LVP? I can write now. So what is LVP? Therefore, LVP in terms of formula. What is LVP? What is lowering of vapor pressure means? Now you have to know this clearly. LVP means the difference in vapor pressures. Okay, in terms of formula, the difference in vapor pressure of both the solvent and solution. Which is bigger value? P naught is big value, no? So LVP is the difference between vapor pressure of solvent and vapor pressure of solution. So P naught minus Ps, this is called LVP. So please remember this one. What is LVP? So LVP means lowering of vapor pressure. LVP means what? Lowering of vapor pressure. So very clear. So here you have LVP. So LVP means lowering of vapor pressure, which is equals to, so write on. So LVP is equals to P naught minus Ps. Why not, sir? Ps minus P naught? It never be. Why, sir? Because P naught is always bigger than. So what is LVP you have? LVP is P naught minus Ps simply. That is what? LVP, lowering of vapor pressure. Next, the most important thing is we will have that colligative property now. That is RLVP. What is this? RLVP. Full form is relative lowering of vapor pressure. Lowering of vapor pressure, you know, LVP means, you know, lowering of vapor pressure. RLVP means relative. Relative lowering, see this, you see, relative lowering of vapor pressure. So what is RLVP? You have it clearly here. So here you have, sorry, here you have RLVP. So relative lowering of vapor pressure. What is the relative lowering of vapor? RLVP means I will write directly. RLVP means it is the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure to the vapor pressure of pure solvent. I repeat, RLVP definition, it is the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure to the vapor pressure of pure solvent. So what I can write, ratio means like this, LVP by P naught. LVP by P naught. What is this? P naught. Okay. So P naught. Oh my god. Shit. So what is RLVP? RLVP means LVP by P naught. So what is RLVP definition? It is the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure to the vapor pressure of pure solvent. So what is RLVP? You can write now. RLVP. RLVP means simply, what is LVP? LVP means lowering of vapor pressure or not? Simply P naught minus PS. P naught minus PS by P naught. So this is RLVP. So what is RLVP you have? So relative lowering of vapor pressure. Relative lowering of vapor pressure. RLVP is equals to simply P naught minus PS by P naught. P naught minus PS by P naught. So this is relative lowering of vapor pressure. Okay, so simply you can write formula. P naught means what clearly? So you know already. What is P naught I written? P naught is vapor pressure of vapor pressure of vapor pressure of pure solvent. Vapor pressure of pure solvent. What is PS? PS is vapor pressure of solution. Vapor pressure of what? Solution. So this is PS and this is P naught. So what is RLVP? P naught minus PS by P naught. This is what? RLVP. Relative lowering of vapor. Got it, sir, everyone? So relative lowering of vapor pressure, you have idea. So what is relative lowering of vapor pressure? RLVP. So it is the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure to the vapor pressure of pure solvent. So with respect to solvent only we will consider, okay, relative lowering of vapor pressure. So that's why we had numerator LVP means how much decrease by initial. So who is the reference for us? Vapor pressure of a pure solvent is a reference. So RLVP is nothing but LVP by P naught, lowering of vapor pressure to the P naught actually. Got it, sir, everyone? So this is about relative lowering of vapor pressure, the most important. So next we have, you know what? Most important, Raoult's law. What is that? Raoult's law. What is the Raoult's law? Okay, so Raoult's law is what exactly? This statement I'll give you later. So first, according to Raoult's law, what I'll tell you. So listen carefully. This is the most important. So till now, what we discussed means mainly solution consists of two components. One is a solute and one is a solvent. So solute particles will affect some properties. Okay. So what are those? Means I told you there are four colligative property. Colligative property means the property which exactly depends on number of particles of solute is called colligative property. So four colligative properties. There are relative lowering of vapor pressure, elevation in boiling point, depression in freezing point, and osmotic pressure. So among four, first one we are discussing now, that is relative lowering of vapor pressure. To understand that relative lowering of vapor pressure, what is evaporation means vaporization, excuse me, and next condensation we discussed, and vaporization means liquid to vapor, condensation means vapor to liquid, correct? Liquid to vapor, okay, vaporization, vapor to liquid, condensation, both when are at equilibrium means this vaporization and condensation both evaporation and rate of condensation both are same, means both are happening in the same speed, understanding? So at the equilibrium, when the condensation and vaporization taking place with the equal rate, means equal speed, then the pressure exerted, here you have a liquid surface. The pressure exerted by vapors of liquid on this surface is called vapor pressure. So vapor pressure will decrease when a solute having macro particles, means big particles. Big particles means what is the meaning? Macro means solute particles are non-volatile. Then vapor pressure will decrease. That decrease in vapor pressure is called lowering of vapor pressure. Next we discussed lowering of vapor pressure. LVP is P naught minus PS. P naught is always greater than P naught I said. Okay, then RLVP, relative lowering of vapor pressure. RLVP, relative lowering of vapor pressure we discussed. Okay, so relative lowering of vapor pressure means it is the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure to the vapor pressure of pure solvent, LVP by P naught. So RLVP is P naught minus PS by P naught. You may have a doubt why P naught is greater. So I told you P naught means It's the vapor pressure of a pure solvent. So solvent particles are always microparticles, very small particles. So that's why P naught is very much big. Okay. So next, Raoult's law. What is according to Raoult's law? I tell you. So according to this law, means according to what? This, according to Raoult's law. According to what? Raoult's law. The vapor pressure of a solution, vapor pressure of a solution is directly proportional to mole fraction of solute. Mole fraction of solute, the most important. Okay. So directly, according to Raoult's law, I'll write one important thing: mole fraction of solvent. According to Raoult's law, first. According to Raoult's law, the vapor pressure of a solution is directly proportional to mole fraction of solution, mole fraction of solvent, sorry, mole fraction of solvent. So this is the statement. Please read once. According to Raoult's law, the vapor pressure of a solution is directly proportional to mole fraction of solvent. Very clear. You have a reason also. See, mole fraction of solvent. If very common sense, actually, little bit frankly speaking, I was confused, but no need to confuse. Mole fraction of solvent is big. So I told no, if solute is more, then macro particles will be there. Then evaporation is difficult. Certainly, vapor pressure will decrease. But here, what I am saying, mole fraction of solvent is directly proportional to vapor pressure of a solution. Correct? If solvent is more, certainly all particles are very small, then vaporization is easy. Then more vapor molecules you will have, certainly pressure will be more. So vapor pressure of a solution will be directly proportional to mole fraction of solvent. Is it correct or not? Yes, correct. Please, I'm just repeating this. Mole fraction of solvent means solvent moles are more or not, telling mole fraction of solvent is more means what is the mole fraction of solvent? Number of moles of solvent by total number of moles. So solvent moles are more. Certainly evaporation is easy. See, remember two things. Remember, if the solvent is more, vapor pressure is high. If the solute is more, vapor pressure will be low. Very clear. Okay. So what I am saying here, mole fraction of solvent is more. So to avoid confusion, these many times I am explaining. So mole fraction of solvent is more, then solvent particles are more, then vaporization will be more. Certainly, vapor pressure of a solution will be more. So vapor pressure of a solution will increase or not? PS. Vapor pressure of a solution you have there in red color. Here you have PS is equals to vapor pressure of solution. So when the mole fraction of solvent increases, vapor pressure of solution increases. So you can highlight that. Vapor pressure of this particular solution is directly proportional to mole fraction of whom? Solvent. So if the solvent mole fraction is more, certainly vaporization is easy, so that vapor pressure will increase. So vapor pressure of solution is directly proportional to mole fraction of solvent. Please don't get bored. So I'm explaining for you only. So please focus on this class. Okay, sir. So what is the statement? So what is the highlighted one? Vapor pressure of solution. Sorry. So therefore, what I can say, according to this law, according to this law, what I can write, P S is directly proportional to mole fraction of solvent. Write this carefully. So according to this law, PS is directly proportional to mole fraction of solvent. See, slowly we started from vapor pressure to this important relation. What is that? PS is directly proportional to mole fraction of solvent. So here what I can write, therefore, PS is equal to some constant, proportionality constant K into mole fraction of solvent. Got it? So this is the final relation. Of course, our derivation not yet completed, but we have one important relation here. So that is PS is equals to K into mole fraction of solvent. What is PS? Vapor pressure of solution. PS already you know. S means solution. Not means only solvent. Not solvent. Okay. So now I have one small derivation here. I'll explain that. You know, sum of the mole fractions is equals to 1. So that is mole fraction of solute plus mole fraction of solvent. Mole fraction of solute plus mole fraction of solvent is equal to 1. Okay. Then instead of mole fraction of this particular solvent, I can write 1 minus mole fraction of solute. I can write. Correct? So instead of mole fraction of solvent, I'll write mole fraction of instead of mole fraction of solvent, I'll write 1 minus mole fraction of solute. This I'll substitute. So then what happens here? PS is equals to, therefore I'll substitute this. This I'll substitute. Where? In this particular. Suppose this is equation 1, and this is equation 2. I'll substitute 2 in 1. Substitute 2 in 1. Okay, then what happened? PS is equals to K into 1 minus mole fraction of solute. Mole fraction of what? Solute. Mole fraction of what? Solute. Okay. So here this Raoult's law is applicable only for dilute solutions. Then this mole fraction of solute is very less. Mole fraction of solvent is very high. This is applicable only for dilute solutions. Then what happened? For dilute solutions, instead of K, I can write what P naught I can write. So for dilute solutions only, this is applicable. For dilute solutions. For dilute solutions, this mole fraction of solute will be very less, right? So I am deriving formula for you for dilute solutions. Remember. Okay. So for dilute solutions, what happened? Dilute solution mean what is the meaning? Solute is very less, solvent is very high. What happened then? Mole fraction of solute is very much less than mole fraction solute. This is mole fraction of solute is very less than mole fraction of solvent. This is the most important. Then here it is negligible now. Who is negligible? This mole fraction of solute is negligible here because I am taking for dilute solution. Certainly what happened, this PS will become P naught. PS will become P naught. Then P naught is equals to K into, this is almost 1 minus 0, because this mole fraction of solute is very less. So this is negligible. So what negligible means 0.0001 something. So almost 0 I can take mole fraction of solute. What I am doing understanding? So we got this. PS is equals to K into 1 minus mole fraction of solute. Correct? So if the solute is very less, then solvent is very high. Solvent is very high means this vapor pressure of a solution will become vapor pressure of solvent. Then P naught is equals to K. Then P naught is equals to K. P naught is equals to K for whom? For dilute solutions. For what solutions? Dilute solutions. So for dilute solutions, P naught is equal to K. So now what I will do, this P naught is equals to K, I will substitute here. So instead of K, I will write P naught. So what I am doing, for dilute solutions, that particular mole fraction of solute is very less, so that mole fraction of solvent is very high. So mole fraction of solute here is negligible. This one is negligible. At that time, when the solvent is very high, this vapor pressure of a solution can be equals to vapor pressure of pure solvent. So I'll substitute now. Therefore, what happened with a different ink I'll write now. So from here it is different because instead of K, I'll write P naught. So what I'll write? So P S is equals to P naught into 1 minus mole fraction of solute. Okay, now you multiply this with P naught. So what happened? What will happen now? Okay, now what will happen? P S is equal to P naught minus P naught into mole fraction of solute. Mole fraction of solute. Then what happens if this comes here? PS will come here. PS will come here. So P naught minus PS, right? So what I can write is P naught minus PS by P naught. So I'll write like this. One more step I'll write so that you will understand properly. Okay, so P naught minus PS. Isn't this PS will come here. So P naught minus PS. So next what happened? This P naught into mole fraction of solute. Mole fraction of solute. So just from here to here, please try to understand. This PS comes here. So P naught minus PS. So this term will be this P naught into mole fraction of solute will come this side. This whole term will come this side. So it will be plus. But come this side I said, but right side only I just kept that just for your understanding. So what you will have finally, hope you understood from these two steps. From this step to this step you understood, I think so. So what happened? This PS will be here. So P naught minus PS. This term will be positive now. So what I can write finally? P naught minus PS by P naught. This P naught comes this side, denominator. Okay. is equal to mole fraction of solute. Mole fraction of solute. So this is the final formula what we derived. Okay, P naught minus Ps by P naught is equals to mole fraction of solute. Sir, many people have a doubt why you written P naught instead of K. See, that K value must be known. So that's why we changed that K into P naught. That is the most important thing. So why I written. So now you can apply this same formula for concentrated solutions also. So why sir K you written as P naught means, as I said, for solving numericals every time we have no need to take K value separately. K value is nothing but P naught. Raoult's law is applicable for dilute solutions. Next we will continue from here. P naught minus Ps by P naught is equals to mole fraction of solute. Please remember this formula everyone. Okay, this is the most important formula we have. Oh my god. Okay, P naught minus, not visible, right? No problem, I'll write one more time. Okay, so red color is it. P naught minus Ps by P naught is equals to mole fraction of solute. Mole fraction of solute. Please listen this carefully. Okay, please write down this everyone, please. So very important thing. Okay, I'll stop now. So till here everybody must write notes. Okay, and tomorrow we will continue from here. So P naught minus Ps by P naught is equals to mole fraction of solute. So why we converted K into P naught? Just please try to understand. Only thing here you have to remember, here this till here everybody have idea. Ps is equals to K into 1 minus mole fraction of solute. So instead of K, I written P naught here. So what is the reason behind it? This law is applicable, and RLVP we can find only in dilute solutions. So that when you consider dilute solutions, the mole fraction of solute will be very less. Okay, so that this can be negligible. So K value can be equals to P naught. So instead of Ps, I written P naught only directly. So when the solute is very less, this vapor pressure of the solution will become vapor pressure of your. Okay, please go through this. Okay, I'll stop class.